Just before we continue along the Trent and Mersey, we thought we'd just give you a brief look at the Lion Salt Works. Very, very nice, funded by the lottery, and now it is an established museum, and it is excellent. The Lion Salt Works was shut for many years, and now it's a museum, and you can go around inside on tours, and there's a cafe and all that to enjoy yourself if you want. There's plenty to see and do here. This is the historic boiler house at Lion Salt Works, and this particular boiler was the start of things. Without it, no salt would have ever been produced here. This was the manager's office, this. Not much left now, but it's still all authentic. This is the smithy where all the metal work was done, because a lot of things were metal at the salt works, and it was still in use till 1960. That certainly could have been a lethal weapon, definitely. This is some of the old equipment, what's stored in the old smithy house or workshop, whichever you want to call it. It's a pity today, because at the moment they're doing some extensive works to open a few bits and pieces, so we can't go all round it like we wanted to. That's a shame, but it'll be done very soon. I noticed when I was doing some editing, I called this museum the Saltburg Museum. Well, its real name is Ingram and Thompson, because they were the manufacturers, and the name of the museum and company is the Lion Salt Works. So this time I've got it right. There's a few industrial places, as well as all the greenery on the Trent and Mersey at the top. You know, what I call the top end, the north end. It's just scattered about now and then. They just appear and then they vanish and we're back in the greenery. Perhaps that's why I also like the Trent and Mersey as well. It's one of our favourites, in addition to the Shropshire Union. Yes, can certainly be different on occasions.
There's quite a few fat boats around here, Keith, aren't there?
Yes, certainly is. We've seen quite a few moving this time, haven't we?
Yes.
You know, a lot more than what we normally see. Perhaps they're all moving up this way.
Doo-doo,
Mind you, it'd have to be via a crane because they can't get up from the south to here.
No, they can't. I think I like the coziness of a narrowboat myself. I like the lines of it, and I like the coziness inside.
Absolutely. It's amazing how much metal there is on wide beams, and yet they're not that much difference in price than a decent narrowboat.
That one looks extra wide, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Huge. Well, they must fit through the bridges, mustn't they?
Yes. I'd give you the job of cleaning them as well. You could do that.
Thanks. Yeah. I don't know whether it'd fit through this little gap up here where boats are moored, though.
Just about. We've just gone past Winsham Wharf. There's quite a few boats get loaded in here. We've seen a few on videos as well, haven't we?
Yes.
Where they've gone in there.
That's a good protective screen up top of that bridge, isn't it? That's metal.
It is, yes. Oh well, back to Chemical City.
I quite like this stretch though, do you?
Yeah,
in
it's
a
nice.
Strange way, because this is why the canals were here, wasn't it? Because of the industry.
Yeah, but not for that sort of chemical thing.
Not this, no. Breathe through your sleeve, Keith.
Yes, that's true enough, yep.
Glad the wind's blowing the other way today. You're never quite sure what's coming out of there.
Sometimes you do wonder how you can see over the boat to steer. Quite a few times when we've come past here, as you're looking across at the higher part near the cables and that, there's all steam coming up there, which comes from the chemical factory. I'm just wondering, does anybody know what it is when it's all just, you know, it's all steam's coming up for quite a long stretch of roadway and at the side. All a bit weird for us. We don't know what it is. If you know, please drop us a comment. Another question as well for any of you boaters out there who've been up this way. we've never been in the old Broughton Cross. Is it any good? Is it worth us stopping next time? Because we're always looking for new and nice places. So I'd appreciate your comments and advice. These are very popular moorings near the flashes, and you can understand why. Peace and quiet in a very scenic area. We're back at the tight spots where all the weed overgrowth is rampant. I know it's worse in some other places, but this was clear at one point. Not that long ago, probably 2 years ago, this was cleared. But it's back. What are you actually doing?
There's a mine underneath.
All right.
Seeing if the canal's subsided.
All right. Well, that was worth asking. It seems that because of all the mining activity that's taken place over all the years around here, they continually monitor the area for any subsidence. That's a first for me, it certainly is. As you know, we've boated for many years. I couldn't envisage narrowboating without Bernadette. She's such an important part of it, you know, very, very important. There's always, well, she always is anyway, a good company and quite funny. And we do have a really enjoyable time, and that's part of boating for me. If I didn't have somebody like Bernadette, it wouldn't be the same. I couldn't do it without Bernadette because I don't think I'd have as much enjoyment. Exceptionally spoilt person I am, but don't tell her that. I'm letting you know this in advance because I know a few people have been traumatised and may want to mute or fast forward, but I'm going to tell you a couple of jokes now. I know I should put warning up and all that, but I'm letting you know in advance. So, as we're trundling along now, I'm going to tell you two. And apologies to those who find it deeply disturbing. I bumped into a friend of mine the other evening, and he came over to us and he says, "Look at these fantastic shoes, aren't they in brilliant condition?" I said, "Yeah, they're great. Where did you get them from?" He says, "Well, I got these from a drug dealer. The only problem is I don't know what he laced them with because I've been tripping ever since." We went round to a friend of ours about three or 4 days ago to play Scrabble. We all love Scrabble. Anyway, we'd been playing for an hour or so, and we said, "Go on, we'll go and make ourselves a drink and get a bite to eat, but don't do anything to that board." So we went, got a bite to eat and that. When we come back, there's no letters or anything anywhere. And then we find out that our friend's dog has ate all the Scrabble tablets. And ever since then, it's been leaving little messages everywhere in his house. Not very pleased. Certainly plenty of overgrowing trees on this little length of the Trent and Mersey. I think very soon they'll have to cut back a few of these. Definitely will. Anyway, it's a bit like dodgems now and then, so it's quite enjoyable in its own way. But if they get much lower, nowhere to moor along here, but apart from it being a bit shallow in places, it's a nice steady little cruise, this, nice and easy and very enjoyable. Come rain, come shine, you'll always have boats moored up at bramble cuttings. A really good setup, very nice, and some good picnic spots there as well if you want. Just a tad early for us to moor up now. We want to go out a little bit further on. A really good brew of Yorkshire Tea Gold. It's not an advert for them, I'm just telling you, for me and Bernadette, there's no other tea comes even close. And that's Lancastrians saying that, you know, but Yorkshire tea, it is the number one for us, definitely is. Always nice, just so refreshing. Yes, excellent. I was thought, is he picking dog up?
It's alright.
Oh right, it's alright. It's alright. Alright. It's alright. I thought he was going to picking the dog up, Bernadette. Apologies for that, I got a bit mixed up. We never go too fast when it's like this. You just allow for anybody who speeds through, come from anywhere. At least we can stop very quick. If all goes to plan now, we intend to moor up for the day. Just outside on the outskirts of Middlewich, just before a place called Croxton Aqueduct. That leaves us in a nice position when we start off again to go through all the locks. Oh yeah, it's a tight bend and people panic sometimes and come too far over on this corner. I think you will be jumping off in a minute, and so will I. At the flashes, this is where, you know, these are the areas. There's a couple of places along here where when the working boats came to an end, they just scuppered them. And they were sank in these areas where you see the wide open expanse of water. They were sank in them areas. Some were actually taken out and have been restored, you know, but the other ones will have rotted away. It was what you call the canal's version of scupper floor. Time to moor up now. Pick a good spot and that'll do us. Sometimes we don't want to be, you know, in the middle of the hustle bustle of Middlewich with the moorings round there. So a really nice mooring, not that far away, you know, from the hustle and bustle, is, depending which way you're coming, if you're coming from Middlewich, it's just past Croxton Aqueduct and before Bridge 175. There's some lovely moorings. It's wide and it's deep, and it's a lot quieter than when you're in the middle of Middlewich, and yet you're so close to it. Obviously, if you're coming from the Bridgewater towards Middlewich, then that's just after Bridge 175. So I just thought I'd give you that little mooring spot, because it's very nice and very safe.